Well, this is the 4th series of London's Burning. We shoot it here at Jacob Street Studios, which is near Tower Bridge. And we are next door to Dock Head Fire Station, which is the model of our fictional Black Wall fire station. And in fact, we film quite often over at Dock Head, and we use their appliance bay and yard a lot. Dock Head's a working fire station. Before any scene is set up, they move their appliances outside to be ready to answer emergency calls. Colin Monk, our designer, has built an exact replica of the upper floors of Dock Head here in the studios, including the mess kitchen, dormitories and offices.
Close up Jimmy the whole way through.
This is what it's like.
Python in the plenty bank.
Are you ready for this, Jimmy? A bit of talcum powder in the house.
What we've got to get now are reactions that are so subtle between you that he doesn't pick up on.
371, take 2.
Detail is all important, and we work closely with the London Fire Brigade. We have a Fire Brigade advisor with us at all times.
Friends? Romans?
Bloody sods, that's it! I'm out!
Our actors even attend Fire Brigade training school before each series.
Thank you.
When we originally got the job, we were all packed off for a 2-week training course. Normally that's done in 20 weeks for a recruit. We did it in 2, so we had a crash course. That had the effect of bonding everybody very strongly together, which is really where the series came from.
Well, I've been writing for London's Burning since the 1st series, and I've just written an incident set in a marina where 2 youths have been sniffing propane gas, which leads to a massive explosion and the security man being engulfed in flames.
There it is. And Black Wall, action, Black Wall.
The first thing you see in this scene is the arrival of Blue Watch, and they're getting out of their appliances and trying to muster as much information as they can.
Please, let us through, please, ladies and gentlemen, let us through. What's going on here? Does anyone... I looked through the window, I heard shouting, and I saw a man running away from the boat that was berthed at the end there. The security man was on it. The next thing I knew, it went up like a Roman candle.
He was definitely on it when it went up.
Yes, he was on it.
Is anyone else on duty?
No, not as far as I know.
Having gathered the information, the story that I've written is of Blue Watch recovering bodies and also dealing with the fire. The stories couldn't be as precise and technically perfect without the help of Brian Clark, the Fire Brigade advisor.
The fires are normally produced by burning propane gas, which gives a very visual effect and adding smoke to it, so that when the cast are actually squirting water from a jet, the water has to miss the fire, otherwise we would lose the effect. You'll see the scene where the station officer dives into the water to try and actually recover a casualty. Now that is partly a cheat.
Put some more light out there. Recall, give me a line, I'm going in.
You see Andrew Casimir, who plays the station officer, go to dive in, and that's where the division is made, and that it's then a stunt man who actually does the swimming. A second stuntman is used for the main explosion, which is shot in the studio.
I'm playing the part of a security guard at the marina, and I detect there's a bit of nonsense going on one of the boats, so I go down to investigate and discover that there's a couple of young lads in there.
Yeah, there you go.
Making a bit of a mess of the place. I have a bit of a scuffle with the first one who scarpers off. I go back to investigate to see if there's any further business going on, and I put on the switch, unbeknownst that there is gas down below, and of course that causes a spark and the gas explodes.
We're using a piece of equipment called a woofer, which we fill with propane gas, set at a certain pressure, which gives us a controlled ball of flame. 2, 1. This is the case all through London's Burning, really. We control it as much as we can. But at the end of the day, it's real flame and it's very hot.
We're going to do a test, so I want everybody out to that doorway as before.
It will involve me being set alight and being blown out of the boat, or otherwise dive over the side to put myself out.
I've got some of the old hospitals because I had a girlfriend that night.
You can do special effects and you can run trials, but it's the human reaction that you can't predict. So we have CO2 extinguishers and wet towels standing by, just in case it all goes wrong.
Charge the woofers.
This set is just a little bit small, just a little bit worried about it, but we think it'll work out all right. We'll let you know. If Perry's a bit singed around the edges afterwards, well, I was wrong.
And action.
The principle of fire effects is to make everything as safe as possible and then make it look as dangerous as possible. This house here isn't burning. What we have is a number of gas jets which are totally controllable, can be switched on and off, up or down, and when the director says cut, the flames go out and everything is left safe.
It's very nice to be able to light with flame with little mobile flame bars that you can move around the set and place exactly where you want them in exactly the same way that you normally use photographic lamps, so that you're sure to have the right colour from the flames themselves and the right flicker. And very often in these firefighting scenes, the firemen wear a complete face mask, and of course the flames that you're lighting them with reflect in the visor, in the face mask, which is very pretty.
Wearing breathing apparatus is strange at first because the restriction of it actually having your face covered, and just learning to trust the fact that when you do breathe in, there is going to be air there. Because sometimes if you don't get it quite right at first, you breathe in, there's no air, and it's horrible. It's, you know, it's real panic stations.
In episode 7 of the forthcoming series, we have a script which involves a hotel fire where a family are trapped. We would actually like to have, on the way up between the 5th and 6th floor, we're going to actually have a collapsing staircase in which Stephen, who is the actor playing Colin, is going to actually save a fireman who's actually going to fall down the stairs.
We need a fireman to fall down the stairwell, the stairs to collapse, and for him to actually fall into the lift shaft area down here. So it involves the artist walking up the staircase and getting the special effects to build a staircase in such a way that it actually drops and then tips.
Can you collapse it?
We're going to need to use these stairs all the time, and I'm actually going to need to retake it. If it doesn't actually work the first time, I need to be able to use the stairs again, and I need to be able to use the stairs all the way through the episode.
That's it. It's all done.
So they've got to be very, very solid, and yet they've got to fall down.
Yeah.
But before we collapse the stairs, we've got to make it look like there's been a fire.
What we actually do is clad the scenery with a very fire-retardant material, and that could be plasterboard, which disperses the heat and loses it rapidly.
That's off.
With the aid of the special effects expertise in creating the fire, we're able to get this blistering and bubbling for real. It's very effective.
Well, when we're doing an interior fire, we wear the same breathing apparatus that firemen wear. This has been very slightly adapted for Ken Lowe, the camera operator, who can't have the full face mask because he's got to put his eye to the camera and can't have the weight of the bottle. He's already got the weight of the camera itself.
There. That should be over your shoulder.
So everything's been adapted for him, but everyone else wears the normal fireman's breathing apparatus. Because it's quite a nice shot for when the firemen are fighting the fire to squirt the camera with their hoses, we have a revolving glass on the front of the lens which flings all the water that might hit it away. And then there's the problem. Once you start fighting the fire with water, there's a lot of steam, and the lens and all mist up. So we've got another hose line of air that comes in and blows away the condensation. So it's quite a performance, the whole bit. I think what has happened as we have got this fairly sophisticated outfit together, we've been able to just do more sort of daring and realistic things. We now virtually can keep the camera inside a fire, looking back at the firemen, you know, with flame all around and so forth, and that was something we certainly wouldn't have been able to do at the beginning.
They're up on the 6th floor, mate.
I was playing a fireman, walking up the steps in an old hotel. As I'm walking up, the fire burns through the steps, they collapse, and I fall through a panel into the lift shaft. It had to be extremely well timed because when I hit that step... Go! I was already starting to go off balance, otherwise I might have fallen the wrong way. The whole thing's complicated by the fact I've got this breathing apparatus on, which weighs a ton, gets in the way for when I've got to fall through, and also is difficult for when I've got to be pulled out.
Shit! What we're trying to do in this particular episode is that we have a probationary fireman called Colin who has not been a hero yet, and we thought it was about time we gave him a chance.
Try and swing your legs up, mate. That's it.
I really like the character. And he's quite romantic about the idea of firefighting, and he just loves the idea of sort of going in there and saving people's lives. So I think we'll be pretty pleased with today's incident.
OK, that's it, mate, all right? Quick! Get up here! That's it. Get his BA mask, his BA set off.
I think there's aspects of Colin that are in my own personality, such as his gullibility. I'm quite gullible, and his naivety maybe slightly, but I don't think I'm quite as gullible and as naive as him, and hopefully more intelligent.
Is it a live main gun?
OK!
Did I put the fire out?
In every episode of London's Burning, we have major action sequences. Obviously, we've done a lot of fires. We've also had people rescued from high-rise buildings, cranes. We've worked in sewers. We've had trench collapses. We even turned over a fire engine. Obviously, all these incidents, or shouts in fire brigade terms, are manufactured. We have a very good design department, special effects department, and a very good stunt team. Obviously, we don't want to lose too many actors. We also have to work with animals sometimes.
Rescuing a parrot off the top of a building. A nice job if you can do it. 60 foot up a ladder, top story. The parrot handler comes out, howling gale at the top. No, I don't think my parrot likes it up here very much. Question from the director, well, he can fly, can't he? He's a parrot. Well, he can fly, but he doesn't like flying at 60 feet. So what do we use? Stuffed parrot. I'm doing the whole of the dialogue in that scene to a stuffed parrot.
Come on, don't jump. It's not worth it. I mean...
And we eventually shoot the top of the building. We do it 10 foot up in a back lot at the studio with the real parrot.
Talking to a parrot? Now, come on.
I mean, don't work with animals and children. Do not work with parrots. Very, very severe animal indeed.
Right, well, fire engines are designed not to turn over. We checked with Dennis, and they informed us that it had to tilt to 47 degrees to enable it to go over. So we had to alter the complete structure of it. Normally the water tanks on an appliance are at the bottom, so we move them to the top to make it more unstable.
I think on a scale of 1 to 10, the trench shout was probably about a 9.5. Every now and then we do get a shout that is miserable, and that was probably one of the most miserable shouts you'd ever get. A very cold 2 or 3 days in February. The trench itself was one big special effect. It was all kind of purpose-built. It was full of paint to colour the water to make it look like mud, polystyrene boards to look like kind of shingle and shale, and all banked up round the side like this. It was horrendous. Collapsed piles of wood, all on bits of hinges and things like this, and it was just a complete mishmash. And then hidden along the side of that trench were camera positions and everything else, so they were all kind of sunken underground. The whole time we were doing the rescue, they had a crane from above with water to simulate rain, so you were wet. Every which way you looked, you were wet. Boy out. In the real fire brigade, they'd have been in and out. On London's Burning, you were in and in and in and in and in for 3 days. You don't get a break, really. But it's all good fun.
What they did, they actually got this serb, it was a proper serb, it wasn't used. They pumped this fresh water in for health reasons. They give you these sort of dry suits, and we rehearsed and got in the water. It was fine, no problems, and then we got out and took all the gear off. There's lots of stones on the floor. So obviously we've punctured the suits unbeknownst to us. So we've jumped, put them on again and gone into the water. And then it slowly started to fill up, which is a really funny sensation, that sort of thing. It slowly fills up and gets colder and colder. Then it hits all sorts of parts that are more sensitive than others.
I love getting stuck in, any actor does, because it's all that vanity and everything, being perceived as being heroic, and, you know, the fact that I'm flat-footed in real life is neither here nor there. But so it's Steve McQueen time, it's a good lark. If you do these big pieces, everybody gives you brandy afterwards and blankets if they're cold, and that's a very good arrangement.
Writers can invent anything, but the team has to recreate it. For instance, in this episode written by David Humphreys, where a commuter falls under a tube train.
Hey, don't be bloody stupid. Hey, what are you doing? Mark? You silly sod!
The shout for episodes 9 and 10 was the biggest we've ever done. Perhaps not the most technically complicated, but certainly the biggest. And it really was a feat of terrific organisation. The first problem really was to find the location. And we were shooting flames 60 feet into the air for 5 nights, and obviously we couldn't do that in the centre of London. So the location manager found a derelict factory out in Cambridgeshire, which we used. We had a total of 11 fire appliances. There was 7,000 feet of hose, and as well as the principal actors, there were 65 Cambridgeshire and London firefighters who were all off-duty volunteers, and they appeared in vision, and of course they provided safety cover.
Turn over.
12 special effects men spent 9 days laying 2,500 feet of gas pipes using 10 tons of liquid petroleum gas.
Water up! Thanks, Bobby.
We were pumping 2,500 gallons of water per minute. And because of the hosepipe ban, we used a local lake as a supply.
Cut, 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 cut!
So, having set the scene of the major fire, the next thing to film are the closer shots of Blue Watch in the blazing woodyard.
Yep. Scene 10.
Yep.
Which will take us 10 minutes to just get the crane around the other side.
All right.
And then it's,
Yep.
it's the whole lot.
But this is now the woodyard being threatened much more.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
We're on scene 18, everyone. Scene 18.
Basically, they set a whole woodyard alight, and Richard and I went in, and it was a fully charged hose, which normally would have 3, 4, 5 real firefighters holding the pressure, because it's so powerful. It was real slippy, because there was about sort of 3 or 4 inches of mud, and it was hot, really hot. It felt like my face was swelling with the heat. So it was like real adrenaline, you know, heart-pumping stuff. It was good, it was exciting. It was probably the closest that I've got to real firefighting.
And cut it. Well done, boys. Well done. Super. Excellent.
Curtain ring? How the hell do you get a curtain ring stuck on your whip? Get bay leaf.
Bay leaf? Bolt cropper, please.
What's a bolt cropper?
All clear.
Well done, David. Whoops.
Not again. Did the earth move for you too?